All right, welcome back to Unit 4, Lesson 9. We're going to now dive into applications, looking at word problems. So, like I said before, quadratics are very helpful when it comes to describing motion, especially looking at a graph of quadratic, x squared, so y equals x squared, it looks like a smile. So if I flip it around, so actually I make it y equals negative x squared, it is now a frowny face, which is this type of motion. If I throw something in the air, if I'm over here and I throw a ball in the air, it goes up and it goes down. And turns out that curve is actually a quadratic. Our ball doesn't go up and down at a sharp angle. It curves up and down. So we have a lot of motion, a lot of problems that describe motion. So here's one example. A rocket is fired into air from the top of a barn. Its height h above the ground in yards after t seconds is given by the function h equals negative 5 t squared plus 10t plus 20. I'll rewrite it one more time because the caret's kind of weird. It throws some people off. But here's my function. I'm going to draw a picture as well. So, a barn. This is a barn. Over here, I have a little rocket. It's launched up and down. Let's say it lands off of the barn, for the sake. There'll be three main types of questions that you will see. One is, the two of them are very similar. So I want to get used to some context. So here is one type of question. What is the initial height of the rocket? So initial height, we want to see with word problems, my way of approaching it is two steps that happen kind of simultaneously. One is, what is the goal? A lot of times it is what variable. There'll be later ones where it not be tied specifically to a variable, but this is a very helpful question if like, what is the goal is very vague. So what's the goal? What variable do I want? I see, what was the initial height? I need height. Height is my variable. H is unknown. I don't know it. So therefore, I have, what do I know? And this is also like, what variables do I know? Because I'm given this equation, h equals negative 5t squared plus 10t plus 20. If I need to find h, to use an equation, I must only have one variable that's unknown. So here, I must know t somehow. T equals what? I look at my question. What was the initial height of the rocket? There's no mention of time. It's like, oh, like, what was the height of the rocket? It doesn't give me like, oh, t equals the value. Here, what do I know? I know that it's initial. It's at the start. Right now, I'm at the start. What's my starting point, my starting height of the rocket? And my time at the start must be 0. That's my time. If I'm at the start, my time is 0. So I need to find h. I know t. So I'm going to rewrite my equation with what I know. H equals negative 5, 0 squared plus 10, 0 plus 20. 0 plus 0 plus 20 equals h. So h equals 20 feet. My next type of question is a bit simpler. Like same type. Like I might give you a time and be like, oh, what is the height at this time? Once again, what do I not know? I don't know my height. And I know my t equals 2. So I use my formula. H equals negative 5 t squared plus 10 t plus 20. I solve. H equals negative 5 times 4 plus 20 plus 20. So h equals negative 20 plus 40. My height is 20 feet. And constantly just reiterating this over and over. Our answer seems weird because at 0 it's 20. How is it 20 again after 2 seconds? It must be the case because the rocket goes up and goes back down. We said a lot of times they match, there's 2 of the same height. It hits the height multiple times. It can hit the height multiple times. Not always, because this height over here, let's say that's like 200 feet in the air, it's not getting that high. At the peak, it only goes to it once. Down here, it only gets to it once. But sometimes it gets to a height twice. So you want to understand these concepts. This could also be the other way around. Like it gives you a height. It's asking you to find the time. So let's do one of those right now, but with some more context. When will the rocket hit the ground? Determine your answer algebraically. So when will it hit the ground? What we're trying to find? When. So my time is unknown, so I must know my height. I read this closer. I want to see, where is the rocket? What height am I at? I'm at the ground, so my height must be 0. So 0 equals negative 5t squared plus 10t plus 20. And now this ties all back together to why we're doing it in this unit, why we're doing it in this lesson. This, I have a quadratic that's equal to 0. So first I'm going to start off, be like, I know I can't extract a root because I have multiple variables. So I'm going to take out a GCF of 5. So 0 equals 5. Negative t squared plus 2t plus 4. And now looking at this, I'm going to try factoring for a bit. Negative 4. I have 1, 4, 2, 2. None of these add up to positive 2. Even if like one's negative. None of them could ever get to positive 2. So this tells me I must use quadratic. Quadratic, we kind of glossed over this, but here I have a 5 over here. This 5 doesn't matter because if you think about like factoring, I can now solve. 0 equals 5 and 0 equals this. This one just does nothing. So now I'm just focused on the right piece. We see that I must use quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Negative 2 plus or minus root 20 over negative 2. I simplify my radical. X equals negative b plus or minus 2 root 5 over negative 2. And now here comes the point. Can't reduce a radical anymore. I can't add these two, but I can reduce by a factor of 2. I can simplify by a factor of 2 because I have a 2 over here, 2 over here, and 2 over here. X equals negative 1 plus or minus root 5 over negative 1. And now at this point, it's asking us to find when the rocket hits the ground. I should have also included, let's include it right here because I have time. Round your answer to 3 decimal places. So I don't want my answer as a radical. So now we get our calculators to find out what is root 5. So square root of 5 is 2.236. So x equals negative 1 plus or minus 2.236 over negative 1. And we split it up. I want to do one with plus, one with minus. X equals negative 1 plus 2.236 over negative 1. Negative 1 minus 2.236. So this one gives us a negative 1.236. This one gives us 3.236 seconds. Look at my two answers. I want to see which one sounds right. The one on the left, I have negative time. So that's how the rocket hits the ground before I launch it. And this one happens 3 seconds after I launch it. So it must be the positive answer. But let's also take a step back and see why this is happening. So my rocket, it started on the barn. So that's at time 0. My graphical quadratic, the equation doesn't care about time if I just think about like numbers. So if this graph would actually continue downwards, and at negative time, I actually go back to hitting ground. So a lot of times you might get negative answers, you might get positive answers, but you want to make sure you understand what's being shown and click the answers that work best with the scenario. You will have many more questions like this where you're asked to find the time, you're asked to find the height, you're asked to find distance, you find like x coordinate, y coordinate, a lot of different variables. But try to look at some keywords and think about these 2 questions. What's the goal? What do I know? Try to make sense of what's being asked and try to find the context of what's being asked. Initial means start. If you're on the ground, that means your height is 0. There's also stuff like that you want to think flexibly about what variables do I have. Look at a question that I have. Because if it says that rocket's on the ground over here, that means that it's never in the air. So you want to make sure like you look at where you need to look at, practice it out a lot, and you'll get faster and faster and more efficient with your time as you do it. Also, make sure you're choosing the right method over here. I talked through that this can't be extracted root because I have 2 variables. I tried factoring for 20 seconds, then moved on to quadratic. Hopefully it's helpful. As always, reach out if you have any questions, and I'll see you next time.